Welcome to Cory's Stories. It's time to relax, my little friend. Time to sleep. Hello! Do you want your name in one of the bedtime stories that I make? If you do, and you want to be in a Tucker and Leo story or an Heidi, Cherry and Vaya story, go to the links below. Go to the patron links and talk to your parents and see if you can join the cat club or the dog club. And I'll see you there. Enjoy your story, kiddos. Bye. Bye. Are you ready to meditate with Cory? Try your very best to be still and quiet so that you can listen to the meditation story. Relax your breathing, slow everything down. Time to chill out. Heidi, Cherry and Vaya were chilling out in their garden. It was a lovely summer day. They were drinking lemonade, lounging on the lawn, just watching the world and the clouds roll on by. Cherry said, you know, this is so nice. It's so nice and relaxing. I love to just do stuff like this, don't you? Just me and you, together, alone, chilling out in the sunshine. What more could you want? Vaya said, Me thinks it's lovely. It's very peaceful. Heidi said, Yes, I agree. I could do this all day long. Just drinking lemonade and laying in the sun. There is one thing though, said Heidi. I keep hearing this very strange sound. It sounds like tiny, tiny, tiny voices. As if something very, very, very small is talking. Or normal people are talking, but they're whispering and they're far away. Can you hear it? Cherry perked up her ears, and so did Vaya. Cherry said, You know what? Now that you mention it, I do hear something like that. It sounds like... But you can't hear what they're saying. Is that what you can hear? Vaya said, I hear it. I wonder what it is. Do you think it's like tiny insects or something in the grass? Cherry said, Oh, that'd be so strange. Can you imagine if you're laying on the grass just relaxing in the sun and you could hear every single insect talking? Oh, it's going to freak me out. Oh, I don't think I like it. Heidi said, Well, it might be that. Or it could be some animals in the bushes or something. Or some people just in the next garden. Cherry said, I say we investigate. Yeah, let's do it. Let's look around everywhere and see if we can get closer to the voices so that we can find them, and then we'll know exactly what it is that's talking. Right, let's do it. They all started to search the garden. They checked around the trees. They checked around the bushes. They checked around all the furniture. They checked near the back gate. They checked underneath the benches. They checked down by the water fountain. Down by the water fountain got louder. Heidi said, Do you hear it? It's getting louder. Cherry said, OMG, this is freaking me out. But yeah, I do. I hear it. I'm so excited. It could be like, little people from another planet or something. How awesome would that be? We could make friends with aliens from another planet. From like the moon or from a different star system or something. I wonder if they've come down to Earth to discover what it feels like to be a cat. Because I know all about that. I can tell them everything what it feels like to be a cat. Because you know what? I'm a great cat. I'm a really good example of a cat. I'm very, 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 very fit and funny. and I'm a little bit cheeky, like some cats are a little bit cheeky. I'm also quite crazy. Lots of cats are crazy. You know how they chase things around and around and around, and it's just a ball of wool or something, and they just keep chasing it around and around and around. Anybody would think they didn't have any brains. I'm not that crazy, because I know it's just a ball of wool, but I am crazy. I like to do adventurous, crazy things. That's my kind of crazy. Anyway, yeah, if they've come from another planet and they want to know what it's like to be a cat, I'm here. I can tell you everything. Heidi said, I can hear it even more near this bush near the water fountain. Listen. All the cats got low down on the grass. They started to stealthily move like Navy SEALs, closer and closer, sliding along the grass, making no noise, as if they were going to jump and pounce on something for dinner. Closer they got, the louder the voices came, closer and closer, until they could hear what the voices were saying. Sally, what shall we do for dinner? Another voice that must have been Sally said, I'm thinking we should make fairy cakes. Oh, that's so funny. Fairy cakes! Fairies making fairy cakes! That's so funny! Heidi, Cherry and Vaya all looked at each other with big, googly, surprised eyes. Vaya said, Methinks the fairies? We must have found a fairy house. OMG, as Cherry would say. Cherry said, Too right. OMG, OMG, fairies! I love fairies! Fairies that cook are even better! I wonder if we can say hello without scaring them, because we're really big, you know, and they sound very, 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 very small, don't they? Heidi said, Leave it to me. I have an idea. Heidi prepared herself and then gently coughed. Hello, hello. We are cats. Yes, we're cats, and we would like to be your friends. We don't want to eat you. There's no need to be scared. We would just like to say hello and maybe meet some fairies in our garden. And from then on, we could be best friends. The cats heard lots and lots of tiny little voices going, Shh, 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 oh no, we've been found. Shh, 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 oh no, what shall we do? Oh, shh, oh. And it sounded like they were running around and banging into things. Cherry said, Don't be scared. Don't you guys be scared. We are a lover of all animals. You know, we don't hurt anyone. We try and be friends with everyone, and being friends with you fairies would be very, very nice. Don't you worry. We won't move any further closer. We'll just sit right here and we'll let you guys come out to us. You can climb on his paws. You can climb on his noses and on his backs, and you can use his tails as like giant slides if you want. That might be fun. We'll just wait right here. Don't you worry. The cats sat there very still and waited and waited. Cherry occasionally scratched on her nose. Vaya hummed a song. Heidi just sat perfectly still, listened and watched. And then, after the longest time, the fairies must have decided that the cats were telling the truth. They'd been very patient, and they hadn't moved. They did exactly what they said they were going to do. So the fairies all started to come out of the fairy house that was in a bush by the water fountain. One by one, hundreds of tiny, pretty cute fairies flew out and walked out. Some of them ran out waving, shouting, Hello, hello. They were so cute. One fairy came to the front. She said, My name's Eva. Welcome to our home. This is where we live. We've lived here for many, many hundreds of years. "100s of years," said Cherry. "My golly, that's a long time." She was a bit loud. They weren't used to Cherry being that loud yet. Everybody kind of blew back as if a gust of wind had hit the fairies, and it was only Cherry's voice. They all composed themselves again, and Eva said, "Maybe you could talk softer, and that would not be as scary, please. Yes, we've been here hundreds of years, and we've lived in your garden for the longest time. We like it here. We have a water supply right there. All the fruit trees give us fruit to eat all the time, and we have a stove, and we like to cook. We're making fairy cupcakes. Would you like some fairy cupcakes? We're also making fairy rings, and they are kind of like, well, they look like a big giant circle. You might call them onion rings. We call them fairy rings and rings. And when we make them, we dance around them because they look like a big giant ring." Heidi said, "Oh, thank you. That would be very nice. Cherry will try very hard to whisper. Vaya has a gentle voice, so don't be worried about Vaya." Vaya lifted her paw and she said, Me thinks I'm very happy to meet you all. I personally like princesses, but fairies are very gentle and magical, and I like them too." Eva, the little tiny fairy, said, "Pleased to meet you, Vaya. I think we're going to be very good friends." Cherry said, What about me? I want to be a friend. I'm a bit loud, I know, and I get really excited, I know, and I'll try my hardest to just calm down and be very gentle around you. I can be still. I can be really still. Look, come and climb on my nose, and then you can all run all over my back, and then you can slide down my tail. It's going to be so much fun. Watch. Come on, you can do it. I promise I won't hurt you, I promise. Eva gathered a big group of fairies. Cherry put her nose down to the ground, and all the tiny, tiny little fairies ran up her nose, up the middle of her ears, all the way down her back, and then they slid down Cherry's tail. The whole time Cherry was giggling. "Oh, it's so ticklish, it's so ticklish. It's like hundreds of little fairies are running all over me. Oh, wait, yeah, hundreds of little fairies are running all over me." It's so funny. It feels so nice. It's like a little tiny Thai massage or something like that, where they're all running all over your muscles, and they the massages where they stomp on your back and they walk on you. It feels a bit like that, but it feels obviously not like that because they're so tiny and so gentle. Oh, it's so nice. Hello. You can play on my back anytime, guys. Do you all have names, or is it just Eva that has a name? Eva said, "Everyone has a name, but I'm not sure if you'll remember them all." And then all of a sudden, every little fairy started shouting out their names. It was like hundreds of little tiny voices. Pearl, Marble, Ruby, Jellybean, all different types of names. Vaya said, "Methinks I just heard a very nice name called Rosebud Julia. Was that correct?" Rosebud Julia stood forward. "That's me." Vaya said, "Methinks that's the prettiest name, Rosebud Julia. Maybe if I ever have kittens, I'll name one of them Rosebud Julia." Rosebud Julia did a tiny little curtsy and got all pink in her cheeks, and then she fluttered her wings back into the crowd. All 3 cats laid down and put their noses on the ground. And then there was 3 cats to play on, 3 giant slides to slide down. They had a lot of fun that day with the fairies, and it was so awesome to know that they had a fairy house at the bottom of their garden. I mean, how cool is that? And they had hundreds of fairy friends that they could go and play with anytime they wanted, and eat fairy cakes, which are like tiny little cupcakes with fairy rings on top, and eat fairy rings, which are like giant big onion rings, but really the fairies call them fairy rings. Yes, it was like a magical place at the bottom of the cat's garden. They were very happy about it. That night, when they went to bed, they all talked about the favourite part of the day. They snuggled down into their comfy cat bed, hugged on each other, closed their eyes, and chitter-chattered for the longest time. They were talking about all the fairies and what they looked like. Vaya couldn't believe how cute their little tiny dresses were. She decided that she would like a fairy dress. Maybe it'd be nice to be a fairy sometimes rather than always a princess. Cherry was thinking of different ways to be the bestest, funnest cat for them to play on. Maybe the next time she played with them, she could cover herself in some kind of coconut oil and she'd be all slippery, and then they'd have like a slip and slide all over her. That would be very fun, she thought. Heidi found a book all about fairies and fairy history and fairy magic, fairy spells and fairy cooking recipes. She was going to share it with them the next time they all played together. They were very happy about their new fairy friends. This made them fall asleep very happy, each one of them smiling a little cat smile. What a nice day. The end.